I flew from Kansas City, Kansas, United States of America, to Asunción, Paraguay in South America for only $6.85. I'm currently in the middle of Argentina in a small little town, so if you hear roosters or dogs, I apologize. The secret to getting flights for uber cheap is you need a lot of frequent flyer miles. Now hang on, because you don't actually have to fly a lot to get a lot of miles. These are credit cards. Actually, some of those are debit cards, but I thought it looked cooler with more cards, so anyway, these are credit cards. And by using these wisely, you can harness their power and get practically free flights across the globe without going into debt. In 6 months, I went from having 0 frequent flyer miles to having over 100,000, and I didn't fly once during that whole time. Whenever you sign up for a credit card, there's almost always some sort of sign-up bonus, some initiative to get you to sign up and get their card. We want the cards that offer you miles whenever you sign up. The most important thing to look at whenever you're going to get a credit card is what's called the minimum spend. What a minimum spend is, you have a certain amount of time to spend a certain amount of money, or you don't get the sign-up bonus. So if the sign-up bonus is 40,000 miles and you have to spend, say, $2,000 in 90 days, if you do not spend $2,000 on that credit card within those 90 days, you do not get those 40,000 miles. And that's very, very important, because you can only use a sign-up bonus for almost all cards. You can only use them once per person per lifetime. So if you screw up and you don't get the minimum spend, you've just wasted 40,000 miles, or however many the bonus was. So it's very, very important that you know if you can meet the minimum spend or not. If you can't meet the minimum spend, don't get the card. The way you know if you're going to be able to meet the minimum spend or not is you need to look at how much you spend per month on regular things. That's food, gasoline, gym memberships. You need to add all those up per month and figure out how much you spend. They need to be things that you will be able to put on a credit card. So typically, rent, mortgages, car payments can't be put on a credit card. Sometimes they can, but normally they can't. So you need to look at the things that you can put on a credit card. You add all those things up and you now know how much you spend per month. The other easy way to hit a minimum spend is if you've got a big purchase coming up that you'll be able to put on a credit card, say like a new camera, a TV, like new tires for the car, something like that, that you'll pay off completely, but it's big enough that if you put it on a card, you can basically meet the minimum spend already. That being said, do not go and buy things just to meet a minimum spend. If you're spending extra money to meet a minimum spend, you're defeating the whole purpose of using credit cards to get miles, because the whole point is to use this system that the credit card companies have created to entice people to use their cards to go into debt so they can make money. We want to use the system to our benefit, not the credit card companies. So you do not spend more money than you normally would just to meet a minimum spend. It's not worth going into debt over. The only way using credit cards to travel works is if you pay off the credit card in whole at the end of each month. You have to wait until the credit statement posts, and then you pay off the entire balance every month. The entire balance. You cannot use credit cards for travel if you're going into debt. The key to using credit cards is not to change your spending habits to match a card, but to find a card that matches your spending habits. Once you know how much you'll be able to spend on a card in a certain amount of time, you can now begin looking at credit cards. There's one website that I use for almost all of my credit card searches, and that is NerdWallet. Now, I'm not affiliated with NerdWallet in any way. It's just a freaking banging website. NerdWallet will tell you everything you need to know about a credit card before applying for it, and you can even use NerdWallet to search just cards for travel. They've got a whole section dedicated to just credit cards for traveling. So it's perfect for us. There's also a subreddit where they talk about different promotions and limited time offers with credit cards. That's very, very helpful as well. This is the card I started with. It's the Mileage Plus Explorer United card through Chase. Whenever I applied for this card, it had a limited time 50,000 mile sign up bonus. Within 3 months, I met the minimum spend, I got the miles, and then I moved on to my next card. The second card I got was the Barclay Arrival Plus MasterCard. I met that spend and I got 40,000 more miles. There's a lot to consider whenever you're looking at a card. Points are not created equal. The points on my United card are much better than the points on my Barclay card, but points are still points. Points are always good, but you have to look at what kind of points you're getting to know the value of a certain amount of points. Just because a card is offering a huge amount of points doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a better card than one that's offering less. You just need to read and do your research and figure out which points are best and how they can be used. Also, both of my cards have annual fees, and so you need to know that before applying for a card so that you know if by the end of the year you want to cancel the card or if the fee is worth it for you and the card's benefits outweigh the small fee each year. So spend some time on NerdWallet and Reddit and you'll be able to figure out what card you need. Also, before applying for a credit card, you need to know what your credit score is so that you'll know if you'll be approved for the credit card. And so to do that, just use Credit Karma. It's completely free and you'll know your credit score. The main question I get is, doesn't opening a lot of credit cards mean your credit goes down? No. As long as you're using the cards smartly, you're not maxing out the cards, you're paying off the cards each month, and you're not closing a bunch of cards all at once, your credit score should go up, not down. Initially, whenever you are approved for a card, your credit score will drop a little bit because the credit companies have to look into your credit score to make sure that your score is high enough for them to give you the card. And whenever they do that, it drops just a little bit, but within a few weeks it will rebound and it will start going up as long as you're following these rules. My credit score is very good now. It's over 700 and I just started using credit cards, I don't know, a year or two ago. So as long as you use credit cards correctly, your score will increase, not decrease. I've linked some more good resources for travel hacking and how to travel cheaply below. Make sure to check those out. They're very helpful. Everything that I've linked, I use personally on a regular basis to look at which credit cards I want to use, new tips on how to travel, etc. Check those out. Very helpful. So make sure, one, that you know what the minimum spend is and that you can meet that minimum spend without changing your current spending habits. Two, know all the pros and cons of a card before applying for a card. And three, always pay off the entire balance of a credit card at the end of each month. Always do that. Always. If you follow these guidelines, you'll be traveling for practically free in no time. Thanks for watching. Share this with a friend who could use this information to help them travel cheaply. And remember to have happy travels, stay safe, and don't die. Peace out from Argentina.